Make me fall, fall, fall.
Welcome back to the Stockwell Roche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
Josh Roche, RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
We have Robin Hartle, RE/MAX Results, and Jason Light in studio with us talking about real estate related things for you or your loved ones that are, or family or friends that are in a real estate transaction or terms that you've heard. And we're trying to put some clarity on these things. Maybe we're actually going to make the water even more murky, but our goal is to give some clarity and some ease and educate on these things. So, dual agency is the first thing we were talking about before we left. And this, we all talked about how we're not attorneys. I'm going to read something that was actually written by attorneys. So here we go. It just says that if the buyer chooses to purchase the property listed by the broker, a dual agency will be created. This means that the broker will represent both the buyer and the seller and owe the same duties to the seller that broker owes to the buyer. This conflict of interest will prohibit broker from advocating exclusively on the buyer's behalf. Dual agency will limit the level of representation the broker can provide. If dual agency should arise, the buyer will need to instruct the broker in writing to disclose specific information about the buyer. All other information will be shared. Broker and buyer will be giving up the right to exclusive representation in an in-house transaction. However, if the buyer should decide not to agree to possible dual agency, the buyer wants broker to represent the buyer may give up the opportunity to purchase the properties listed by that particular broker. Wow.
So that's the downside.
Now, does that clear it up? Everybody got it? We're good? We're good. We're good. We're all clear.
Kind of
We
fell
all
asleep a
understood
little
that.
Written by an attorney. Yeah.
Almost as confusing as TRID.
Yeah.
So basically what it means is, here's what it comes down to, folks. Just to dumb this whole thing down, trust and ethics. Do you trust the person you're with, that's your agent, to do the right thing? And also, because there's good reasons for dual agency, and there's sometimes it can not be good. So if you go through the document on the listing contract and you say, well, do you agree to dual agency or do you disagree to dual agency? Let's go over first. I'll hit up the reasons why why you would disagree, and then you guys can be devil's advocate. Okay. Why you would disagree to dual agency is you don't trust your broker, number one, but maybe you wouldn't be listing your home with them. But
if it's a small brokerage, I can see where it could be like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a smaller brokerage, or if you say, I only want full representation, period.
Right.
I want you on my side and my side only, no matter what happens. Even if you get a call and that person wants to buy my home, I do not want you to do dual agency because I want them to have their own and I want my own. Exclusively own representation. Then you do not agree to dual agency. That's one of the reasons on that. Why would you?
Well,
What would be a good reason to
A good reason
agree?
is because you're working with a big brokerage. Because, I mean, let's just take RE/MAX Results. RE/MAX Results is one of the biggest brokerages in the country.
Yep.
And they
The
have
world,
so many...
but
the world, yeah.
In the world. Okay, we'll throw the world.
The
throw that in the
universe,
world.
the galaxy.
So there's so many agents that are out there. Once you sign on with that brokerage, I mean, you kind of got that whole brokerage behind you try to help you sell that house.
You have instead of one agent going
Right.
out there, you have 1,000.
You have 1,000
helping
agents
you.
out there on your behalf working for you. So
That might be that'd be a good reason. The other good reason I would say is that if your home is on the market and you don't agree, and it is a larger brokerage, Coldwell Banker, Edina Realty, RE/MAX Results, RE/MAX Advantage Plus.
thank you.
You have
you
these
for that.
larger brokerages. They're the second largest on the planet. But if you have these larger brokerages, you have a lot of people working for you, but you don't. If you disagree to it, then that person from Rochester who happens to be with the same brokerage that you don't really care about or know or have any interest in, they are not able to even write an offer on your house. So you're actually closing the door on a segment
Right.
of the population or that have agents that are with the brokerage you chose. So
And if you're here in the Twin Cities too, you'll learn that RE/MAX Results and RE/MAX Advantage Plus are two of the bigger brokers here in the state. So you're taking that opportunity away
Yep.
from other people coming in and putting an offer on it if you do not do the dual agency.
And if dual agency is done properly, you have no issues,
Right.
nothing to worry about. and you actually are opening up more opportunity for selling your home. If the agent that you have gets a buyer and they want your home and you don't feel comfortable with that agent actually representing the buyer, tell your agent that.
Yep.
Guess what we can do? Hey, buyer, this is the situation. I'm going to have these 3 people. Please call these 3 people agents. Mm-hmm. So it's non-dual agency, and one of them will help you to represent you in this transaction. There's all kinds of ways to make it work so it's comfortable, ethical, and everybody's happy. But the reality is you want your home sold. Your home sold. You want your home sold. So
That's dual agency.
So if you want dual agency,
Right.
you don't want it. If I have a house for sale and someone calls me and says, Jason, it's been on the market and we've done everything, and someone comes in 30 days later and says, Jason, I want to buy this house and here's my offer. I will present that offer.
Mm-hmm.
That's not breaking any rules. It's totally ethical. If that works,
That's if he doesn't
boom,
have representation.
done.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's sold, and you've actually found a buyer. So, anyway, it's not as bad as
People make it sound.
people make it sound. Of course, there's certain issues with it at times.
Yep.
Small percentage of the time.
I think that really the only time you really do have an issue is if, let's per se, is I'm representing the buyer and then I'm representing the seller as the same transaction. I believe we call that a hogger, is where I'm representing both clients. I'm trying to get them together, trying to work on the transaction, trying to get, hey, seller, I know you want to stick at this bottom line number, but he can only afford this number. I mean,
Boom, you just broke the rules.
Right.
Because you
Because you
disclosed
can't.
private information
Right.
about each
Right.
party. Yep.
Right. So you can't. That's where it becomes an issue right there.
When I bought my first house in 2002, I walked into the open house. The market was crazy. I saw 4 other people in there talking about buying it or talking to the agent that was there and their loan officers. I walked in. I wanted it. I went to the agent there, who happened to be the listing agent. And I said, I want to buy the house. He said, well, I can help you with that. I wasn't an agent at the time, so I didn't know. I said, great. He sat me down. He said, I have paperwork right here. So I sat down. I said, well, what should I offer? He handled it perfectly. You know what he said? We're listed at $219,900. I said, well, what should I offer? He said, we're listed at $219,900.
Yep.
So you know what I said? Should I offer $219,000? He said, sure, if you want to, I'll write that up. I said, okay, done.
Easy sell.
He
Easy sell.
handled it perfectly
Right.
because he didn't disclose
He can't
anything
advise
about.
you.
All you can do is give the facts.
Yep.
Let the negotiations handle themselves out. And in a hot market where it's very active, and people are offering close to asking price, you don't have too many issues with it. Like Josh said, when it's a slow market and people really want to negotiate and just go really, and you have a huge differential between the buyer and the seller, then it's really difficult to be an agent in that position.
It is.
Because
It's super tough.
you are very limited. But
Makes
anyway,
sense.
dual agency.
Yeah.
If you have questions, call us anytime. We're happy to help with that. 651-400-0773. And I'll make sure Casey puts some information on Facebook about this, maybe explaining it a little further too, so you can actually read it yourself if you have questions. We're happy to help. And again, we're flexible, willing to work with you on what's comfortable for you.
And the way that I usually handle dual agency with my buyers, when they are looking at a house, and it could be, and it's dual agency. There's somebody with Remax Results that has it listed, and I'm representing the buyer. And they're asking about what they should possibly offer. What I do is I do a CMA on the property. I do a CMA on the property.
Which is what?
And it's
What's
a competitive market analysis.
Okay.
It basically says this is what this home is listed at. There are comparable properties in the area that are like that home. This is what they sold for, possibly in the last 6
And the
months. that kind
buyer-
of thing.
And ultimately, you out there listening, ultimately, whether you're a buyer or a seller, you're the boss, right?
Right.
We're there to help you and guide you and give assistance in any way we can. But if you don't want to sell your home for the price it's offered, you don't have to.
No.
You counter back. If you don't want to buy a home for that price, then you don't have to. It's you're actually the one who's gonna have that home, right?
Right.
Not
Your
us.
decision,
You know,
right.
so
Right.
you're,
Your name's on title, not
You're
us.
the one who's
Right.
making the decision. So
And we just give them the tools to make the right decision.
yes, yeah, and then if it's not dual agency. Non-dual agency situation, let's say I'm writing an offer with a buyer on a Coldwell Banker listing or something like that, then full on negotiation. You can do whatever you want. And you can, and if I find information out, I can share it without, all the, so now a caveat to this, we all said we're not attorneys. Other states around us all have what's called designated agency.
That's different.
That we should push our legislature to have Minnesota have designated agency. It would eliminate all the confusion with dual agency and large brokerages. End of that one. End of discussion.
All right.
Call us.
Jason,
questions 651-400-0773. Call us with questions. We're here to help and answer questions for you, and would love to meet, talk, have a cup of coffee, see your home, take pictures of the outside of your house now, and all these things, the services that we would provide for you at no cost to you. We're here to help. When we come back,
and talk about pocket listings, right?
we're going to talk about a fun
Are those
one.
like little teeny listings?
Those
that
are
can
you put them in your
tuck
pocket, right? Hold them for later.
Pocket listings. What does it mean? And what are the benefits? And what are the negatives? That's something that I saw a couple YouTube things on, and it intrigued me to want to share with them as well. But we'll be back with more on that. Pocket listings, and then contracts. Should you sign a contract that's exclusive, and why? Benefits and downfalls of that. Some things to watch out for, and some
I don't
things
want
to
to talk
actually
about
do.
that one.
What's that?
I'm not sure I'm going to like that
Oh,
one.
Josh, we have an exclusive contract. We've both signed it.
No, I know we do.
I was kidding.
Yeah, with each other.
Well, we did.
Not what you're thinking, folks.
No.
Not that kind of contract.
Anyway, we'll be back with more. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh O'Shea, Remax Advantage Plus.
Jason Light, Envoy Mortgage. Thanks for being in. And Robin Hartle, thanks. We'll be back.
It seems that how the autumn leaves so far.